it seems like we're going to get Hoya on Renekton, and I wonder if that's going to be paired up immediately with this said money too.
So, you know how we were saying, you know, Ucal's pretty proficient, second most played champion, right? No, all good, right? All good. Well, you know what? FoFo's the OG, my dude.
Ooh.
That is by far his most played champion. He has over 70 games played, and he has almost a 60% win rate. So you love to see a little bit of hands changing here and see if FoFo can pull out the same kind of performance as Ucal has had in back-to-back games. It is the double lock-in of a very aggressive jungle duo with the top side. It's the Renekton and the Viego.
And it gives room actually to Jiejie. I feel like Poppy could have been a really, really big like annoyance to just those two champs already. Especially considering you'd imagine they want to be set up by something like the Rakan as well. So you would have been dissuading that pick too. EDG, top side, I imagine Arla just goes towards maybe the Jax if he wants to really keep things simple. Allow TT to just, you know, get first pick on that next set of bottom laners. Then you already have the counter pick. Unless you really, really want Kai'Sa. I feel like this is just the most telegraphed way to go here. And it seems like they agree. And now it's about what Ucal's pick's going to be. Because it's full AD on the top side, so we're not going to see a Ucal special or something like the Yone. It may just be this Meiko. As it has been left up and available, of course, EDG trying to take away some power from the hands of Ucal inside of the Azir. Seems like they could just go towards this. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really in meta. I mean, I feel like the answer is just no. It's too powerful to leave up and they will just pick it up themselves.
At that point, you kind of have to, right? It just feels so good. I do really like a lot of the side lane pressure we're going to have between Ala and Hoya this time around, though. I think it's going to change a little bit of the nature of the beast, and especially the way that we saw our second series play out with the prevalence of a Renekton for the Shy. We do get some focusing down for some target bans against EDG. It is that Heimerdinger that they've been willing to bring out in those clutch game threes, and it's going to be taken away. It is the Nautilus, though, that forward aggression to add to the rest of the pile here for TT, taken away by EDG.
Yeah, I wonder what else TT want to ban in the support pool, if at all. Like, do you perhaps want to remove away the Ashe just to deal with like not getting kited out? You have a pretty kiteable comp right now between Renekton and Viego. I think it could be a decent call if you don't want to ban another support. Seems like oh wow, they're scared of the Vayne. That is a lot of respect here, and you can't really blame them, right? There's not a lot of point and click CC. It's just a Renekton Ruthless Predator, and with the Nautilus gone, you could definitely see maybe EDG were angling for it. So respect paid. It does leave Uzi's, you know, meta champion pool quite wide and open. Now it's about what EDG want to remove away. Final ban here. Do you just remove away the Varus, take away that one pick which has a lot of early game power, or do you kind of aim at something else here as TT?
God, I would want to see.
Is kind of a given. They go to
oh, okay, they're gonna ban the Melio away. So they, again, back to a couple weeks ago now. At this point, they like to play around with the Lucian combos for EDG and maybe get a little bit of lane presence in the 2v2. I was wondering if maybe we get the Lucian Melio combo down there for them. There's still the Lucian Nami there, but not wanting to give that one over to Yao Yao whatsoever, especially with the already very strong composition they have here. Next pick is the Kai'Sa, though, for 1xN.
Yeah, Kai'Sa is locked in. Maybe that's why they also banned Vayne, because then it's like, then it's the supreme Vayne angle, right? So don't want to fall victim to that one, TT. Definitely respect it. And now, though, I will say, I feel like something like an Ashe or a Varus is still very, very powerful here, and you can pick it up with the Rakan, and there's not really too many things left up in the pool that could really deal with that. I mean, Aphelios, same kind of deal, right? You know what you're getting out of Aphelios. Meiko's pick, however, can just be about anything it wants to. I would definitely say, I think Nautilus being off the table, for me, heightens the value of the Rakan. I feel like the Alistar, the problem with the Alistar is you can get Braum Bomb, and then you kind of lose bottom side priority. So we'll see, because I feel like this is obviously something that Meiko is really, really liking. He's shown a lot of tendency to it recently.
Dude, it's
EDG as a
crazy.
team are comfortable with it, and it seems like such a unique thing to them. But yeah, anyway, that aside, TT's options, you go Braum if you want full defense, you go Rakan if you want to actually have a little bit of setup with the rest of the CC that's prevalent there. I feel like those are really the options. Rakan is going to be a little bit annoying inside of lane, difficult to pull off, but Braum will definitely shut down a lot of the engage options here from EDG and make turning around probably a little bit simpler. You can also, of course, go towards the Rel if you really want to, as Yao Yao had a really solid game on it. That seems like that's what the option is for them. So TT, a much different draft, a lot more skirmish heavy in my mind. Whereas for EDG, it's a lot more about the 5v5s. We'll see exactly what TT are able to pull off, though, because these are very strong team fight like tools inside of the kits, right? It's just about how they actually come together. Whereas for EDG, it is a lot more self-driving on their end, and definitely saying, all right, look, this is very bread and butter. We let this go past 30 minutes, our champions will just champion. Whereas TT definitely need a little bit more execution on their front.
Bar of execution a little bit high, but I love to see the coach Xiaopeng specifically trying to talk to Yao Yao there as well, just making sure that this guy is going to have a lot of the conversation leading for TT. The rel is going to be super crucial in setting up a lot of the success as soon as Yao Yao can get connecting with the rest of the team. And specifically Beichuan, I look to TT's comp to be a bit unlocked, but it is going to be a tough one. And it's a game 3 that I just love to see because we've got all the fight and all that heart left to give here on the Rift. And it's a TT who have had struggles. They are 2-9. They are desperate for victories. While on the other side, EDG, they are not desperate for victories. They are desperate to make a name for themselves. They are 3 in a row right now, looking to make it a 4th. And we're getting into game number 3. What a beautiful culmination here on our first super day of week number 6. It's Edward Gaming taking on Thunder Talk Gaming, and it's going to be a heck of a ride. So buckle on in.
Buckled and strapped down, I hope you are. As no doubt the Gyos were wing. A little less enthusiastic for EDG, admittedly. TT seemed to have the support back in the crowd after being, honestly, kind of manhandled at the Gyo department in game
What
number
do you
1
mean?
and 2.
Speak quietly, carry a big stick. That's the wording, right?
It's an interesting saying, Mazel. I've never
You
personally
never heard
it
that?
myself.
I believe it's either JFK or I don't remember somebody.
Actually, I think you're right. I think it was JFK. I feel like I
learned that in
history
school.
at school. Yeah.
Anyways, we got 100th game in the LPL for Hoya. Oh, at least we have a little bit of track record there for him. And love to see now, again, the changing of hands of a couple things. We get Ucal on the Nico. I think it can be huge. But TT not changing hands in their early approach. They're going to go for that early invade and try to split the map here.
I think they've identified that Uzi has been a really huge problem in these series. And if they can split the map, then they can keep him isolated, and not only the 2v2, but also keep Jiejie away as much as possible. So let's see how that one works out for them. Whether or not, I wonder if Beichuan gets cheeky here. I wonder if he just does red into a bot gank. Like, foregoes the Krugs and kind of keeps EDG off their timer, right? You're anticipating a specific time for a gank to come if you know that this split map is coming. Seems like he's just going to go towards the Krugs anyway, so no shenanigans. But EDG should have an idea. But Jiejie going towards his wolves makes me wonder if they actually know at all. So Krugs are going down. Time to look at the bot lane. What's the state saying? Because it looks like Meiko and Uzi have priority.
They do, and they're
gone
actually
in.
going to get the push.
They just need level 2. They just need level 2. It doesn't matter that that ward is down. They just need the level 2. Beichuan has to be patient. Yao Yao and 1xN just have to hit the minions if they can without being pressured. They're going to pull the trigger now
They're
anyway.
pulling it a little early. 1xN ends up getting Yao Yao. Now also Meiko gets caught out. And where have we seen this one before? We were questioning a little bit the Alistar priority. We see it already taken advantage of early on. Jiejie is going to look for a response in the enemy jungle. But man, this bot lane going the way of TT is huge.
I'd say bold, but actually it's kind of smart. If he can... Does he have a ward? No, he doesn't have a trinket ward. So I was thinking if he can get a ward in this bush... Beichuan's going to skip it. So he's going to walk straight into Jiejie here.
Okay.
He's going to be able to get out.
One has red buff, the other doesn't. I think you know which one wins.
Yeah, and one is also Viego with Conqueror, so very tough to overcome that one as an aftershock Sejuani. And what's he going to do here? Does he want pot skull? He's kind of, it's a bit of a mind game now, because it's like, is Beichuan going to contest me for this bottom side skull, even though his bottom lane isn't here right now? It'll be kind of psycho, but it's somewhat doable with Ucal having priority in the mid lane. So he will still get it. They'll also acknowledge that the blue buff's there, so they could potentially look for a takeaway on that. If I was Beichuan, I'd be beelining over here, to be honest. I feel like you can get Ucal to move, and even if 1xN had to catch the wave, it's something that you can maybe respond to. I don't really want to allow Jiejie to get any camps if you're Beichuan, but they'll let it happen, and they'll just allow him to be given a little bit of breathing room. Meiko level 2 in the mid lane. He's Not going to pull the trigger. Though it wouldn't be very unlike Meiko, given the series he's been having so far.
True, yeah. But I will say there's been some also clutch moments. While we've seen a lot of catch-outs, I think the Alistar has become something you find a lot of comfort with to play around Uzi and be a lot of that step-up decision-making, I guess, for EDG. Because we know Meiko is obviously a pretty big leader as we get a couple flashes exchange. FoFo pretty quick with the hands there.
Yep, no flash on either side. We'll see how that changes Jiejie and Beichuan's aggression towards this lane. So far, though, been pretty tame. And it's just been about a bit of a chess match going on between the pathing of both the junglers here, respectively. So far, Beichuan technically winning out. He's got 1xn, first blood. It's definitely not a bad start. And Ucal forced out FoFo's flash, so we'll see whether or not Beichuan can make his way towards the mid lane, maybe get that burst in. Interestingly enough, Ucal's gone Merc, so he's not going to have a lot of extra damage, but it definitely does limit FoFo and Jiejie's ability to get on top of him, so I like that adaptation, and this control ward hasn't been spotted out, so EDG have complete information that he's here. We'll just drop a wall and back away.
And get a nice little action started in the bot lane between 1xn and Uzi. 2v2 gonna go the way of EDG right now. At least we have a hover around mid lane from Beichuan. Will have been spotted on that ward, so FoFo can play a little bit with this vision and play pretty confidently as well.
Yeah. Not gonna be a problem here. We'll just step away. Level 6 is here.
All right. He thought Hoya was about to pop the ulti and go all in.
I thought Hoya popped the ult as well, but I think it's because
Ala got chickened.
No, Hoya procced Conqueror, and I think Ala just assumed the plant should spawn within the next 30 seconds. It always spawns before 6:30. Man. Well, that sucks, but he's still going to be able to catch the wave. Not going to be a problem. A little bit of RNG not going that way.
Oh, nice little crash down here as well, and Meiko just gets caught out. That's 0-2. And the bot lane going the way of TT, man. They have resurged into this series, Jamada.
They really have. Early games, though, have been TT trended, so I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. This has just been how these early games played out. TT looking really, really aggressively into EDG for plays 24/7. I love it. And they will pick up this dragon. There's going to be no answer either from EDG, so it's just free. Now it's about whether or not they can actually look towards the top side, pick up the Herald as well. And then just keep the ball rolling, right? These Herald, or Dragon stacks rather, won them the last game. Let's see how this engage started. I think it's just Yuyanjia flash queuing, finding 2 into a crash down. Yeah, really good. Really good from Yuyanjia. Good flashing cleanse from Uzi, just to ensure he doesn't get chain CC'd, because if he's caught inside of that, I don't have to tell you where the story goes.
Now we do get a plate given over to Hoya on the top side of the map as well. Still looking for Jiejie to get involved on the rifts. Uzi in the bot side with Meiko are still pressing their advantage though, and we're going to see a return to bot lane as the carousel continues to turn. But I might be hearing the rumble of thunder in the distance. They've already found a nice lead. It will be flash burn. That's something that EDG can play off of now.
Yeah, I mean, they are continually just bullying Meiko, strangely enough. And I say strangely, but for the context of the series, it does, to a point, make sense. He's definitely been the weak link. If they can get 1xn kills, that's great. They just need to keep him relevant in CS, because right now Uzi is keeping pace. They know where Jiejie is. They're actually trying to make a turn, but I think they oversell it a bit. They make it a bit too obvious.
All right, you got level 6.
Left-hand side of the lane.
1xn has the killer instinct, Moonlight Vigil for Uzi. Ala finally goes back. Redemption! Yeah. He gets the fruit.
His 5 a day.
All right, Ucal. Going for the deepness here. As he's but he's off kilter. He looks a little bit off.
No,
he looks a little bit off. They know. They found him out. Sus. Somebody hit the emergency meeting button. Meiko didn't get the meeting information. Somebody didn't get him the memo. Oh no! He's gonna get caught in the alcove yet again, and that's 0-3 for the support of EDG.
Oh god, it's so funny. I mean, obviously they recognize, but it's about that split second of not knowing whether or not it's actually Nico. You know, even though he kind of is a bit late to the wave, it doesn't matter. And as soon as he gives them that brief second of hesitation, that's it. They find the pick. That kill that time goes on to Beichuan, but still feels really, really good. And they can just continue.
That's a 9-minute static shiv.
Yeah, it's actually really good for 1xn because he's
still
so far
on
behind.
a log sword, a boot.
He's not reset for a
He
long
has
time.
it back.
So
yeah,
in all fairness, Uzi,
but he's not gonna get an item there. He could be close. Could be close.
He also picked up tier 1 boots, so he's even 300 gold further behind. So it's just a BF.
Yeah, there you go.
By the looks of it.
Hey, he's got some cool boots on. The Berserker Grieve variety. As it is Rift Herald started up by EDG, so I love this proactive move a little bit from them. While you do have Yaya, who's looking for the roam Meiko as well, it is all about controlling these objectives right now.
Control them. They will try to do for EDG. TT though, do you want to give up this Herald? Because you've got all your members here. 1xn has an item as well. Even if they give up the Herald, a fight is really, really lucrative for them if they can get it.
You got 1xn hovering with the killer instinct here. The Rift Herald did go over to EDG, and they make it out alive as well.
Okay, EDG quite happy with the objective and not actually finding a fight on the back end. And again, 1xn would have technically been in there first, right? Just because he can always follow up on killer instinct. So good job from EDG to just, you know, keep them at arm's length, secure that objective. But again, it's about the usage of it now. It's about where they actually find a little bit of extra gold. As TT immediately just rotate down towards the bottom side, trying to cover 1xn and maybe force Uzi off of something. But EDG, they got the memo. They've got Meiko down here. They are just going to defend their AD carry as he catches this wave.
Yeah, a little bit of a sticky situation out here unfolding, but nothing else going to come of it. We did just get Gore Drinker completed for Hoya on the other side, but you got about 50 seconds for a dragon to spawn. And I would see as reset does come through for Yao Yao if TT want to try to continue stacking this one up. Because we were talking about the bar of execution needed for TT, and one thing that makes that a little easier is getting a lot of decision-making power around the Rift.
Yeah, definitely do agree. And if they can force decisions out of EDG by having some of these earlier dragons, then it'll definitely be a step in the right direction for them. For EDG, I think as long as they can get gold out of the Herald, they don't really care. Like, they're actually down 1.5k at the moment. So they would ideally like to probably put it into Uzi's back pocket, and given the series he's been having Mazel, I think that's probably where you're going. See if you can stack a wave, or see if you can just catch TT out. Then look to drop the Herald afterwards, or maybe it's TT that actually find Jiejie. Just barely saw Beichuan, but it's not going to matter for now.
Still the Sejuani, still pretty tanky. As the pings are coming from TT onto the Dragon, it will be started up and pulled out. As Hoya's on his way here, you got Alla with a TP available. EDG looking to contest with a distraction Rift Herald in bot lane. Here we go. We got Jiejie walking into the pit. It'll go over to Beichuan, but now afterwards, you got Hoya coming to rejoin, and TT might want to turn this one around. Although Hoya steps up, it's actually the rest of TT who are a bit indecisive. And it looks like they actually turned around. So Hoya burning his Dominus for nothing. You do end up getting that double root.
Yeah, Spaceport though, double root was good, but I think just the fact that Meiko's there to immediately stop Yao Yao, even if he wants to turn, just keeps TT away. But they get the dragon, crucially, and I'm not entirely sure if Uzi actually got anything.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. So the gold actually just ends up going into Jiejie's back pocket, and Stack Shiv is gonna deny a plate because of the wave clear. So all is pretty good for TT, all things considered.
Actually comes out a pretty heavy trade there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the power of the Divine Sunder, right? We're actually getting a picture-in-picture. This is why I love our observers. So does he end up getting anything?
No, there's no way.
Just a big fat no. And not only that, it took
2 plates.
Technically 3 plates, don't forget. Because it was 4.5 into where it's at right now. So feels quite bad.
Oh,
Meiko, is Uzi gonna? Uzi's gonna stop his base.
The Prey Seeker is coming on his way. He said, "Yeah, I guess I'll stay around Meiko." It still is that item differential, and it's getting worse. I feel like Uzi does need to get back, get this this item completed here, but can't do so with the amount of pressure that TT are putting bot side. We're looking at opposite side plays now for EDG and TT. Jiejie wanted to punish Hoya for stepping up, but a dive is looking to be had for TT on the bottom side. Hoya's going to take the fight. He is about to have Dominus, just got it back up. He pops it. I've seen this before in a 1v2, and Hoya was looking to turn it. Uzi is all alone bot side. What can you do when Ucal is here as well? He's just trying to step on up on 1xN. Can he get the outplay here and try to give him the kills? Ucal ends up picking it up.
Not bad. Good rotation in from TT. Both teams just reading both sides of the map as being the weaker side for now. Just looking to punish. And in TT's case, they'll get this bottom side tier 1. EDG won't get that tower on the top side, but it will trade it out instead for mid lane damage from FoFo. So still even trades across the board. Herald spawns in 90 seconds. That's our next big objective, and this game feels really tense. I'm trying to gauge like how this game feels for TT right now, because they're all on first item. They've got the bar of execution, you know, to hop over. I'm sure they're acknowledging as well the scaling difference between these two compositions. Not just that like baseline value, but certainly how they interact with one another. And I think they know they're going to have to probably try and contest this. They want to keep EDG on the back foot for as long as possible. That's how you keep the pressure high. Because otherwise, if you just allow EDG the freedom to scale up Azir, Felios, Jax, these things will become very, very overbearing. And then it just becomes about, all right, can we find a good combo? You know, onto Uzi, onto FoFo, and it becomes a game of chicken very quickly. But even then, if the game becomes about the 2 carries of EDG, you still have to remember that there's a Jax in the game, and he certainly can always be a nuisance, even if he's going, you know, with a more tanky build towards the middle part of the game, post his Divine Sunder, which it doesn't even look like he is, because he's got a longsword, so he's eyeing up a cleaver or maybe even a Hullbreaker, we'll see.
Oof, look at that gold. It's never good when the colors are all in line with each other like that, unless you're, I guess, the one that are on top. Right now, TT are the ones that have the advantage. It's about a 2,000 gold lead they've gotten for themselves. It's the 2 dragons. It's a decent amount of objective control. But the thing is, we have an Infernal Soul, and that's going to up that priority. It's going to up the tempo of those fights. We just got Gale Force completed for Uzi, and we just got a flash out of Meiko to make sure he could get out.
Yep, Meiko flash. Is that enough to just get the Herald? I think it is. So Herald, that's the cross-map play. It's Arla getting tier 1. So again, it's just gold traded. FoFo's going to push the top wave, but it's not going to be any pressure. So there you go. Arla continues to level up a bit here. How awkward would it have been if that smite was early enough for FoFo to maybe steal that? Herald goes over. Not going to be a disaster play. And 40 seconds now until the dragon spawns up. It's tense, Mazel. It's tense. Ucal's picked up a stopwatch on reset. Yaoyao's going back to base as well. But it's basically just 1 item champions on the map right now. Nothing more, nothing less.
And while I do appreciate a fight over soul as an importance, I feel like in a state of a game like this, a soul point dragon can actually be even more important. Uzi steps up, sees that extra minion there, but it can force the decision making later on for EDG. You can play around with it. You can trade barons, things like that. So TT, they definitely want to try to push this one out and get into position to contest, but it's going to be a 5-on-5 if they look to do so.
It certainly is. EDG don't want to give this over to them easy, and you can tell by the amount of vision they've claimed around the area. They are trying to set up their battle lines, and they don't want them to go any further than the entrances. Herald's been dropped. Oh god.
They were trying to catch out all over there.
At all. Yeah, so
a little bit early.
Herald ends up being a dud, Mazel. But what it has done is it's given TT potentially the space to slip in. EDG don't want to give this over because they've got all the vision control here. But I think unfortunately they failed. Maybe if FoFo can get some more soldiers down, but I think they should be able to just all squeeze through from the bottom side. So they're going to be here. Take a look at Arla. He's wrapping around.
He is unseen as well. He's going to have a huge flank angle before anyone can see him. I think he actually snuck around there, but they finally get the control ward back there. Ucal, 1xN. They are the ones to watch. It's EDG trying to contest a soul point dragon here for TT, and they are looking a little hesitant. Ala was spotted out, but TT want to commit to the dragon pit.
They have to make a decision right now, otherwise EDG just pull the trigger and they surely win. Ala!
There's the trigger pull and the double counter strike as Yaoyao's already gone. Uzi is fired away. Pop loss over Ucal. Is that enough to turn it around? We wanted to see Ucal 1xN step up, but it's EDG. Beichuan's resets are coming clutch. He actually finds it. And TT obliterate EDG.
It's a 5-for-2 ace. TT make it work. I had my eyes on the backline of 1xN and Arla putting down all the pressure. But whilst that's going on, it's Beichuan who's in the backline of EDG, ruining their day. let's get a look at this because TT are hesitant for so long and you're just giving EDG a better angle time and time again. The initial burst is great. Yao dies, but then Hoya's on the back line. He almost gets through FoFo, but this engage from Ucal is beautiful. 4 members caught up in it. And then it's Beichuan who actually gets the Alistar form. That's why he's able to pressure Uzi so easily. And then it just turns into resets whilst Arla was putting in a lot of work in picking up Ucal and putting a lot of pressure onto 1xN. It pales in comparison to what Beichuan was able to achieve in the backline.
EDG are coming back onto the map. No, they will not go down quietly. Although it is a lot of decision-making power and a decent lead for TT, you still got to go back to the conversation we've had looming over this entire game. The bar of execution is just easier for EDG as the time goes on.
Exactly. So, TT do need to keep the pressure high. That's the important thing. EDG, even though they're down a significant amount of pressure, map state, game state, temporarily, it can still be a position they can win from, as they've already done in this series. It wouldn't be the first time today alone. So TT, what they want now, vision lines really high on this top side of the map. They want to really suffocate EDG, make them feel like they're always going to be starting out the Baron, and actually see if they can. But just don't make the same mistake Weibo made earlier. Good attempt from Jiejie there.
Yeah, he's trying to
can't
find
really follow him. No flash, no cleanse. It's definitely a good target, but won't be able to follow up on that. So that's just an ultimate burned. With only the Baron on the map, it's not the end of the world. TT is just looking for resets now, but you really do want to start setting up on the top side. Just temporarily, right? Be on the map for 2 minutes, get a reset from Yao at that 1.5 minute mark away from Dragon, and then just send him to the bottom side with Beichuan or with Hoya, and then just reclaim the bottom side vision. We'll see how TT decide to approach this next 3 minutes, because I feel like their minds could just be one-tracked onto this Infernal, right? Like, Soul, really, really important, but I wonder after last game, giving over the Elder, how much they want to, you know, potentially repeat the same sin that EDG ended up doing.
Now we are really waiting for item spikes. You got that Nashor's Tooth completed for 1xN. You're still waiting for that second over there for Uzi, more than likely that Kraken Slayer, but that is a big spike here for them, and they need to wait for that. But I don't know if you can wait as much, because TT are going to keep pressuring you as much as possible and maybe even try to force your hand around the Baron.
This is what TT want to do, but they're not really committing to it. It's EDG that keep on being able to push into this side of the map. They do have one ward, but I actually know it's there because of the ping system, so they're all good. They also see that ward, so that ward can get cleared out if Jiejie can make it in time. 6 seconds. The new sweeper. They have control wards, so it's okay. And it does make me wonder, yeah, side lane is something that's been pretty undisturbed. Maybe this is also an avenue for both sides, actually. Like, if TT can catch out Arla without investing too much, definitely remove an important piece off the board for EDG, but also if they overcommit, then EDG can maybe look for a Baron, a Felios and a Azir, especially if a Felios has the right guns for it. Absolutely destroy the Purple Worm, so I feel like both these guys are kind of stun-locked right now. There's no real easy decision to make, with the exception of TT just waiting for this Dragon, which is now coming up in a little bit over a minute's time, so expect Yao to start putting down some vision on that side of the map. Expect EDG to also just shift over in terms of presence down there too.
Yeah.
Ucal's teleporting, so he doesn't feel like he's going to have anything to buy. And he's just going to be down here helping Yao out. Also, maybe it was just for the blue buff.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the guns here. Let's look at the arsenals coming in. We don't have a third item completed for 1xN. He does have pieces. You had the Zhonya's completed for Ucal. You had the Black Cleaver there for Beichuan, and now the Sterix for Hoya. On the other side, you did get that Kraken Slayer for Uzi. That is what I'm looking at. That can be the difference maker here, but it's a fight that EDG are going to have to take, because you do not want to give an Infernal Soul to this TT roster.
No, you do not. Infernal definitely pushed the edge over in the combat to TT even more, and it's just going to create an even bigger bridge for EDG to have to cross in the extended period. Ucal, no spells
Finally
up.
catch out
it's
early.
Messy.
Hoya in a bit of trouble here as EDG have the preemptive strike available to them. Ala could look for a backline access. He doesn't get the counter strike he wants. Yeah, goes forward. The engage the Pod Blossom TT. They might do it. Look at 1xN. He's still untouched back there, but the health bars of TT are getting so low. And EDG with the damage. They come in with a big moment, and that's the Dragon denial from TT.
Oh god, EDG finds such a nice fight there. I think the fact that Beichuan wasn't able to actually siphon up a form in the middle of that mosh pit means that he's not able to perform the level of magic he did in the previous Dragon fight. And whilst that was all going on, FoFo Uzi were outside of that mosh pit, so they were able to just dump all of their damage into the pot. And it means that TT don't have the health bars to deal with that at all. And again, a little bit scattered as well from both sides, to be honest with you. EDG chucking different engage tools into different members. TT on the same response, kind of just trying to back up and regroup, recollect. You can see so it's like Jiejie onto Meiko onto Hoya. It's a little bit disconnected. Then the ultimate gets chucked in for good measure. Lands onto Beichuan. And there's a massive put together here between the ultimates of Ucal and the gravity well. You start to think, man, this is good, but I think Beichuan was rooted or CC'd or something. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the gravitum or what it quite was, but the end result was that Beichuan could not actually siphon the form and maintain a lot more HP than he would have liked going into that passive proc. So EDG, they get this dragon, and it's big, right? Stopping that Eldest from spawning up, stopping TT crucially from getting the soul. And not only that, like, all of your carries thrive off of just flat numbers, right? Azir, Aphelios, everyone.
Whoa! We got the engage on Uzi that goes a little bit wide. It was a full commit from TT to try to set the tempo, but he does survive, end up having to use literally everything in his arsenal.
No blame though. If they kill him, they can go straight to Baron, but it's still flash and cleanse off of Uzi, so I like this from TT. Showing the aggression. I'm not even sure how or why Hoya ended up in that position.
Back to full health?
He is back to full health. I mean, it's just red buff and a little bit of vamp he's got. Not too bad, but also if 1xN hit that W, it would have been passive proc.
Yep.
It would have just been the flat W passive damage, and he certainly would have died. A little bit off the mark there, unfortunately, for himself. But he still liked the creativity. And now TT have to just sit back. Have to wait. Dragon, it's probably the next port of call. Do they find Arla? I mean, I feel like this is a weird place to be for both of these top laners. Yeah,
this is Gage pop by Hoya. He's going to have to watch out for that turret shot, though, as Baron started up by EDG. Yeah, we got to see Beichuan make something happen here. It's already getting low, and Beichuan gets kicked out away. Ucal, he's on the back, but it doesn't matter. Look at 1xN. 1xN takes down Uzi. That's actually so huge. Oh, my God, TT. The thunder is rolling, and they're doing it one by one. Ucal's trying to chase them down here, but EDG, they have flailed. They have fought, but they're fighting themselves into a death as Meiko gets caught again. And TT, the grittiness is insane.
It so is. Arla's gonna get. He's gonna get that execution, but my God, the fact they're able to find Uzi, it's just from the back of the pick previously, right? And the reason why EDG start up this Baron is because they see 1xN down there, but at level 2 ultimate, you can cross 3,000-ish. I think points of range, and the fact that he gets CC'd, Uzi just gets one-tapped. I mean, look at him on the pit. It's Ucal burst. I think Jiejie actually goes over him. And then 1xN just finishes the job.
He doesn't miss that Prey Seeker that time.
No, he does not. And Prey Uzi was to 1xN. Arla and Jiejie just have to be sent back in. Beichuan does his best on the rundown, and he does eventually find Meiko. Arla gets the execution. But still, TT, they lose out on the Baron. That's going to suck, right? In terms of trying to close out this game, but they take it off of enough members for EDG for it to not feel that bad. And now, Dragon spawns up in a minute's time. Uzi should have cleanse by then, but he's still not going to have flash. And when you take a look at TT, who's got flash? It's Ucal, it's Jiejie, it's 1xN.
Yeah.
These guys can reposition. They can dive deep and afford to kill off this guy.
And 1xN is now on 3 items as well that Guinsoo's completed. They're still lagging a little bit behind for Uzi. The thing is, though, you don't have time to lag behind. You got a dragon coming up in 40 seconds, and just like last time, you're going to have to drag that fight out somehow, some way. And already TT have pre-positioned a ton of wards, and they are looking to control this objective.
Yeah, they are. They are. TT, it's complete darkness. Thank you very much, observers. You never hear our thank yous, but thank you anyway. It really does put into perspective what EDG see. And the answer is not too much. Ucal's on this flank here. But EDG, I don't think they're going to take the bait. They're going to throw up the Azir tower. They're just going to push mid for now and try and make TT blink. If they can keep Arla mid for a little while longer, I think he'll probably be the best port of call unless they want him on this flank, and I think that's where they want him. Ucal still on the side, but he's been spotted out, so now he has to rejoin his team or just stay on this angle.
Oh, Hoya. He's a little bit caught on the side. EDG want to pounce on him. Look at Ucal, though. Ucal has a deep flank, and Yaoyao's trying to set him up for it. The Emperor's Divide back, though. 1xN goes to reset on the side. The flash forward, though. Ucal is able to set them up. Hoya buying a lot of time, but isn't going to be enough. You still have the damage dealers from EDG up, and more importantly, even if Uzi is gone, FoFo is still getting pretty large and in charge. The Dragon is here, and the fight needs to happen here for TT. They can get it. Yaoyao getting poked down pretty heavily. The VODS, the Prey Seeker is not actually landing, and that is another denial. I was saying they needed to find a drag out fight, and they did. That's 2 Dragon denials in a row for Edward Gaming.
Yeah, it is. And again, the carries are just going to get stronger, right? The flat percentages are going to feel really, really good for FoFo, for Uzi. And yeah, Thunder Talk a little bit too split there. Ucal was looking for the flank for a really, really long time. And he could just never quite find the angle until he did, but even then, it didn't really have the best follow-up in the world. Ucal's behind on the left-hand side of your screen. Hoya's getting caught out, and Yaoyao also eats a combo. The re-engage is pretty good in this choke on top of FoFo, but again, the follow-up isn't instant, right? And I think that's the big problem. It gives FoFo enough time to reposition. Beichuan's on top of Uzi, and then Hoya is able to just about get out some damage. I think there's a Pot Blossom in the middle of that. Yeah, that's why he actually dies.
Yep.
That's what kills him off. Or the Q, rather, not the Pot Blossom. Very similar in what they do. We know what I mean, though.
You did just get third item there, Kraken Slayer for Beichuan, but you do have some fight in the EDG arsenal as well. When we're seeing kind of what they're completing now, you do also get the kind of Shadow Flames Anya's combo there for FoFo now, but specifically, you've bought in a lot of time for EDG, and that's something we talked a lot about earlier on in the game, was that this team comp is still an easier bar of execution than TT's. TT's have just been executing, and that's why it's been looking so favored for them. But we are dead even, 31 minutes in, and this series has fully delivered on every level of fighting.
Yeah, it really has. I feel like as well, people probably would have had... Oh, Allah.
He is completely caught out here. Does get the leap strike out. He is still the Jax. There's the flash forward, though, and the Heartbreaker out. Allah. He makes it out alive.
Yeah, Beichuan just overestimating his damage a little bit. But you understand the frustration. They want the pick now, and if they can find the pick before the Baron spawns up, just because of how long the death timer should be, maybe Arla's forced to teleport back in onto the map. So, nice forward thinking from TT. They just don't quite have the damage. Jax a little bit too strong at this point in the game. His cooldown's a little bit too low.
And you see the siege with the Sun Disc set up for EDG. You should be able to easily take out this tier 2 tower. Don't think they'll stay for much more. Just maybe some oh, Hoya, he finds the backline here as Ucal gets pushed back by Meiko. It's a reset of the line of scrimmage, and it's actually EDG who catch out Beichuan. Is he just going to go down? Beautiful flash from Jiejie, and it's all going forward, getting caught out by his lonesome. His team going to try to reform around him as FoFo saves the day with some presence. And EDG protect the President Cup, but this time for Allah.
Yeah, they keep him alive, and I don't think I need to tell you what dead jungler means when the Baron's up. So what can TT actually do about this, if anything? I think they just have to give this up for free. They can try and look for a fight, but they're chunked out.
Oh, they want to fight it. They got the TP in from Ucal. They're going to try to get a big Pot Blossom here. Here he goes. He misses it because Meiko gets the big clutch. That's why you take the Alistair. We were questioning it. We were wondering why. And the moment comes due, and EDG stream forward.
This is it for EDG. They should be able to close out, potentially. It's 2 long death timers on Hoya and Yaoyao. If they can't end, they can certainly get the inhibitor, and that'll be enough damage to just snowball it into hopefully controlling this next Infernal Spawn, if they even need it. Let's see how far they're willing to go, Mazel, because this is 5 versus 3.
This is a team that's been dragged to 3-game distances, all 3 of their previous wins. If they win here, it'll be a 4th in a row. It is heartbreaking to see TT on the back foot here with how much positive we've seen out of them in this series. But you have to be able to close out games, and that has been the biggest question when we've looked at TT in this split so far.
He really has. He really has. And again, the 2-9 scoreline, potentially soon to be 2-10. Really doesn't reflect their overall.
Dude, the one moment you need that just made all of the deaths worth it.
Yeah, every single death that Meiko's had throughout this game basically rectified in one press of a headbutt. And because remember, Ucal, if he finds Uzi there, there's probably very solid, very solid follow-up. And now TT, they're down the Vision, they're down the Baron. Fortunately, EDG are more interested in actually keeping control of this area as opposed to pushing up on the bottom side and maybe opening up the base for 2 inhibitors. So
this is pretty big
TT,
though, Jamada. We did get double Rabadons completed for TT. A couple items there as well, needing to be there to have the damage profile here. And it's EDG who are in front of the Dragon. You see how much poke they're already able to get on Yao Yao, but it is TT trying to set up something. If they can get resets for Beichuan, they can get any kind of setup in a flank. It could be the difference maker here.
Yeah, they just need access to Uzi. He's got cleanse, but he's got no flash still. Ucal has his. That's the big differential here. Beichuan's just chilling in his fog. Doesn't want to overextend. TT need to make up their minds. They need to figure out what they're doing. They need to do it now.
Hoya got his mind made up for him. He's going in. He finds Uzi. He finds
Uzi.
He finds Uzi. And now they get the big pick out. TT with the resets. They might have it. FoFo's still pretty big, but FoFo gets gunned down. That's huge. TT make one fell swoop happen against EDG, and the fight back has been incredible. We see Aldo trying to get something back, but there's nothing left. And finally, after all this time, TT will get this Dragon Soul unless Jiejie can get a miracle. But they had to go through 3 separate Dragon fights. They finally get it.
All right, they get it now. TT have this Infernal Soul. It's going to help out the combat so much. EDG, though, are still scaled, Mazel. And at the end of the day, Uzi also didn't blow his cleanse throughout that team fight somehow. So the next time that these two butt heads, chances are Uzi might have the summoner spells back up. I'm hyped for TT, but I'm still remaining cautiously aware of the situation. Yeah, that gives them vision. And then Hoya just goes through everyone. They just make their mind up. They just say, we're going to kill Uzi. He gets stunned up. He doesn't. Even if he cleanses, he's dead. There's too many people on top of him too quickly.
Yeah.
And this is why, for TT, this comp, it needs to collapse on multiple fronts. It cannot play front to back. Felt like it was a similar deal from EDG last time out. This time it's the same for TT, and this time they're able to pull it off.
Oh,
wait, Uzi's dead.
Uzi's
Whoa,
dead.
whoa, 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 whoa. What?
Hopefully we'll get a replay of that
We'll
one,
get a
but
picture in
Uzi
picture,
being
I'm
off the table is so huge. But I will just say I needed some time to talk about 1xN, man. This guy has stepped up in this game 3 so hugely. He came over from Joy Dream, the LPL squad of JDG, and he's 8-0-10. 37 minutes into a game that EDG had a lot of damage through and control of.
This guy probably grew up watching Uzi play League of Legends. And yeah, he just
fell for the trick again.
Oh, man. That's it. It's as simple as that. And I mean, we're 36, 37 minutes into a game. Can you blame a player for just kind of having a lapse in memory for a brief moment that Nico's in the game? Not really. They find the pick, gets them another tower, gets them 2 actually. They picked up the tier 2 right on the top side, so really, really good play from Ucal. Baron's up in 60 seconds. Uzi has both his summoner spells, and that's crucial. And he's got a stopwatch as well. Hex Drinker just to deal with some of the burst from 1xN and Ucal. I don't think it's necessarily going to keep him alive 100%, but numbers are numbers, and it's certainly going to make them deal less damage, and that can be crucial.
I will say, though, 1xN is the scariest beast on this rift right now. If he finds a big catch out with the Killer Instinct, which is at this point always up when it needs to be, he will literally just delete somebody. And it can be Uzi. And we've seen what happens. Yes, FoFo has some decent damage. He's on 4 items now, but it is Uzi who will be the carry of this EDG roster.
It will be. 3 items, 3.5, but staring down a 1xn with 5. Needs to be careful. He's mispositioned a couple of times now. He's actually got the most deaths. Oh no, actually, tell a line, Meiko. No matter what, will probably lead that chart. But Uzi needs to be careful. He has to sit a little bit further back than he has been. I'm not sure if he can cycle over potentially to green and white. But I feel like being red and blue right now. Yeah, so he's got red and white. I think he needs to get rid of red.
That's
ASAP
a flash out of Beichuan. That's actually pretty big.
Yeah, very crucial member Beichuan has been, so less defensive tools. Teleport's coming back here from FoFo. Time completion, maybe a pot as well. Too short, can't quite see. Either way, TT don't want to give up this Baron. EDG don't want them to have it either, because it will eclipse the Elder being up, so you have to be careful. Hoya.
Can't be caught out there. Can't be caught out. He is, though. Gets the Steris gauge pop there. Does still have a lot of that tankiness, and he'll have some sustain for his own.
Oh, Ucal again.
Ucal. He finds Jiejie, but is still the tanky member of EDG. But Yao, they don't care. At this point, you get shredded like paper, and it's 1xn who steps up.
Oh.
Now he's got an access. He's got access. He finds the killer instinct, but he can't go all the way in. The rest of TT are looking for it.
Ucal!
EDG, that's
Ucal!
and Ucal, the saving grace, the angel that comes down from the storm clouds of Thundertalk Gaming, comes up big again, and finally they will reach the damn mountaintop.
They should be able to close this one out. It's been 3 games of complete hell from both sides, but after 40 minutes, several Barons, and a pick onto those who are most important to EDG, they will close out.
The last saving grace of EDG falls, and TT will put a stop, a hamper, a halting to the EDG streak, and they will end their own loss streak. Look at that! Celebrate the wins, baby! And Ucal will finally find the carries that he had been looking for. An incredible series from TT, and you can see how much it means to this roster.
You just can on their faces, and I think they're gonna, despite the situation they're in the table, the chances of them getting to playoffs, very, very slim. You can still understand why being a team like EDG is just gonna be such a big boost to the mental of a team that has been struggling to find wins. And you saw all of the bright spots throughout this series, and I feel like the weaknesses of EDG simply just are counted out by the strengths of what TT often bring to this early game. And in this case, they were able to go toe-to-toe time and time again with EDG, and EDG